Let's talk a little bit about when good sabersmiths go bad. So sabersmiths play a crucial role in the custom saber community. They essentially help other lightsaber enthusiasts realize their lightsaber dreams. So they'll take on a commission for a project. Sometimes it will be totally a scratch-built lightsaber. Sometimes it will be customizing or modifying an existing lightsaber hilt. The different tasks that sabersmiths will take on, it kind of varies from sabersmith to sabersmith, but essentially they help other lightsaber enthusiasts build or repair or customize lightsabers. So that's a really important job, and lots of sabersmiths do some outstanding work and provide an outstanding service to the community, but occasionally we'll see kind of the same story happen, okay? And so I want to go over that a little bit, just kind of when things can go awry. So unfortunately, we'll see this pattern sometimes, and it usually starts off with a sabersmith possibly taking on too many projects, okay? They take on too many projects, and then they get a little overwhelmed. And so the buyers start noticing, they start saying, hey, what's the status of my project? Usually people just kind of ask that by email. And then sometimes the sabersmiths will say, oh yeah, I know, I'm really busy. I've got a lot of projects. I'm working on your project. It's important to me, blah, 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 right? So sometimes that'll be an initial response, and there could be a few additional emails like that until at some point the emails run dry, so the sabersmith falls silent. And then, one of the beauties of the internet is we're able to connect with lots of other people, right, across geographical spaces, so across the US and around the world. And so you can get people kind of gathering in a thread somewhere, or, on Facebook saying, hey, is anybody else waiting on their lightsaber from so-and-so? And then other people can be like, yeah, I've been waiting this amount of weeks, this amount of months. And people can kind of swap stories and see where they're at. So that's definitely a valuable use of the internet now, people being able to connect with that. But, back to the main point, we just see that sometimes. So a sabersmith might stop responding to their emails. And that's because, if you're the one emailing them, hey, where's my order? Chances are a bunch of other people are doing the exact same thing. And so the sabersmith feels overwhelmed, and then they just kind of go, oh my gosh, and they don't respond to any of them. So we've definitely seen that a few times. I'm not going to be naming names in this video. Feel free to post in the comments section if you'd like to name some names, but I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just kind of letting you guys know about the pattern if you haven't seen it. So anyway, it kind of keeps spiraling, right? So people just continue to not hear things, or sometimes a few people will hear things, other people won't hear anything, and essentially nothing gets done. Sometimes some projects will, just like a few here and there, the sabersmith will complete and send out, and so it gives everybody else just like a little bit of a sliver of hope. But ultimately, when this pattern starts, it often ends poorly, unfortunately. And it can mean that people lose out on money, so like if they pay into this project, whatever amounts they've paid into the project, they could end up losing because it could surpass, say, your PayPal buyer protection window. So you're not able to get your money back. And you could also lose, like if you sent the sabersmith a lightsaber, you could also lose that lightsaber in the process. And it's really unfortunate. We've seen kind of some small scale and large scale examples of this pattern repeating itself in the custom saber community. So you definitely want to be aware of that whenever you work with a sabersmith. And it just really could pop up almost at any time, unfortunately. And it's just always, it's always a little sad to see that happen, you guys. And I do kind of feel bad for the sabersmith as well, which might sound weird, but I do think in some cases the person just got themselves overwhelmed and they don't know how to react to it. And then they make some very poor decisions. And then, starting with poor decisions, it kind of leads to more poor decisions until they just end up spiraling, down the drain. That's my interpretation of it. Of course, the alternative is you could have some people out there that just have bad intentions. Maybe they start up a business sort of legitimately and kind of skate by, and maybe they have the intent of kind of skipping town at the end. I don't know. I try not to believe that people will do that, but I know that people do that. So anyway, sorry you guys that this is such a kind of somber, serious video, but I do think it's an important topic. And I would also love to hear from you guys. So I have not personally had this experience with a Sabersmith, but I've just seen, this story happen a few times, and I've seen people talking about it, and so it seemed like an appropriate matter to bring up on this channel. Has it ever happened to you? Have you ever gotten scammed by a Sabersmith that, maybe took on too many commissions, too many projects? Please comment about your experience below. It might help others out.